What's going on, everybody? I'm Jerry, and today we have my Week 14 picks. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you probably already watched the Thursday Night Football game. Putting this one up a little bit late, unfortunately. Had a long day at work today. I'm able to record it where we're right before the game right now, and I also had a problem. I tried to rush through it, and I did not make the graphics well enough for the video. So had quite a few problems. But we're getting the video out. I can tell you right now, it's just before 7 o'clock. And so all the picks will still be before the games. You'll just be seeing them after this Thursday Night Football game. So going into it, let's get right into it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We got Patriots Steelers. I'm picking the Steelers to win this one and cover the 5.5 point spread. I think it's going to be a close, low-scoring game. I think the Steelers actually have a bit of an advantage with Mitchell Trubisky, just because I don't think they know enough about maybe his weaknesses, and I don't know if they've planned for him as much with the opportunity for Mason Rudolph to start. So I think 6-13 seems right to me. Steelers definitely winning, and I think they can cover that 5.5 point spread. Buccaneers Falcons. Buccaneers 17, Falcons 21. I wanted to put the Buccaneers as a win, but I'm really low on the Buccaneers. I really don't like the Buccaneers this year, and I don't think they're a very good football team. I know it's a divisional game. You get the Falcons at home. Falcons coming off of a win. Buccaneers coming off barely beating the Panthers. So I don't think they look great. I think the Falcons can win this game on the ground. I don't know what Vita Vea's status is, but he hasn't been playing. So if he doesn't play, I think the Falcons are going to run the ball all over him and might even have an easier victory. But Falcons win 21-17. Next we have Colts Bengals. Went back and forth. I feel like you have to pick a couple underdogs. I'm taking the Colts in this one, mainly because Gardner Minshew's been playing really well and always been able to put up a lot of points. And I think Jake Browning will too, but I think the Jake Browning experience, I just think it'll come to an end. I think it's a cool story, kind of like Bajent and kind of like some of these other stories, but I don't think it's going to last very long. So I'm taking the Colts to win and cover the spread. Oh, well, obviously they're plus 1.5, but I think the Bengals are going to come back down to earth. I think they'll still put up a good fight. I just think the Colts can win this one. They're on a hot streak. Obviously, Bengals happy too off that win, but taking the Colts 31-27. Next we have Lions Tigers Bears. Oh my. 21-23. Taking the Bears because of how close the game was last time against the Lions. They're at home now. I feel like it's got to mean that they can get a win. +3 at home seemed crazy too. I don't think it's going to be far off. I think it'll be a close game. I think Eberflus is going to be very conservative and kick a few field goals. So in this, I'm projecting only 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals. Getting 23 points. I think the Lions will keep it close. I think Dan Campbell will be ballsy and maybe go for it when he probably should have taken a field goal. And the Bears win the game because of it at 23-21. Next game, Jaguars Browns. If Trevor Lawrence is in, you're picking them all day long. They're probably also not +3. I think could be kind of a sleeper because you're still going up against Joe Flacco and the Browns with either not playing Myles Garrett or not fully healthy. I don't know what his status is right now, but I'm taking the Browns 21-17. I thought the Browns looked good with Joe Flacco, so I didn't see much of Beathard with the Jaguars, and I think they can do better. So I'm taking the Browns 21-17 over the Jaguars, covering that 3-point spread. This one surprised me. -3.5 for the Texans at home. I know they're dealing with some injuries. The big one being Tank Dell, but Nico Collins ends up going off last week, so I don't see what the reason is. I know I think Dalton Schultz is also questionable, but I just don't see any reason that the spread should be that short. The Jets still can't produce offense. Zach Wilson's going to be back. I think D'Amico Ryans is going to be able to scheme up a defense to shut him down, so I only see 6 points from the Jets. But I think the Texans, their strength has been passing the ball, and I think Jets' pass defense has been good, and I think can do enough to take advantage of a rookie quarterback who's actually thrown the most poor quality passes in the league per Fantasy Pros, if you care about that. So I think they're going to take advantage, take the ball away a little bit, but I'm taking the Texans 17-6. Rams Ravens. I've decided to pick the Rams to cover. 7.5 seems like a lot for the Rams to me. the Rams have been playing good football. They're coming off a big win last week, and the Ravens are out Mark Andrews, and they haven't fallen off or anything. They're still one of the best teams in the league, but 7.5 just seemed like a lot for a hot Rams team going into Baltimore. I think having Mark Andrews out is going to hurt a little bit more this week, and I think the Rams offense is going to be able to put up points, and I think the Ravens offense might struggle a little bit this week in particular, having Mark Andrews out. So I'm taking the Ravens. Taking the Ravens 24-17, but that massive spread at 7.5, I'm taking the Rams to cover that. So final score is 24-17. Next we have Panthers Saints. This one I was kind of surprised at a 5.5 spread for the Saints in a team where Derek Carr is going to be out and the offense really hasn't been that good anyway. I actually think they have a better chance with Jameis Winston. He's going to be kind of fighting for a job with how poorly Derek Carr has played, and maybe the Saints will have an incentive with being in a bad division where, if Jameis Winston can string together some wins, might start him regardless of, who's getting paid more or whatever, just to stay in it to make it into the playoffs, because Derek Carr is getting booed when he goes on the field. And so I think the Panthers could keep it close, and I actually think they could win if Jameis Winston turns the ball over. I think you could see a lot of turnovers in this game, so I'm taking the Saints to win, but seemed like too much of a spread for me with the Panthers at -5.5. So I have a 20-17 Saints winning, Panthers covering. Next we have Vikings Raiders. This one too, I think the biggest thing for this game is I think Brian Flores' defense is going to get a lot of pressure on Aiden O'Connell, and Aiden O'Connell's going to struggle. I think they're going to force some turnovers. I think they're going to force them to do well in the run game, and I think they could struggle. I think they're going to have to weigh heavy on Josh Jacobs. You could see Devontae Adams getting open and being flustered because Aiden O'Connell's probably getting pressured and not able to get receptions. So I'm taking the Vikings to win this one strictly because of their defense. Believe Justin Jefferson's back too, so that's going to be huge, especially with the emergence of Jordan Addison for the few weeks. So I'm taking the Vikings 21-13 covering that spread. This another game where the spread just seemed like too much to me. The Seahawks were a good team very early on, looking for a bounce back week. I think even a close loss to the 49ers could be a moral victory for them, show that they still have it and potentially even give them a boost to make it into the playoffs moving forward. I don't think they can win it, but because it's such a large spread at 10.5, I think the books are overreacting to 49ers just dominating the Eagles all game last week. So I think 49ers are come back down to earth a little bit here, and then 49ers end up winning, but with the massive spread, the 49ers win over the Seahawks 27-17. Seahawks covering. This game I couldn't pick. Between Bills and Chiefs, I kept going back and forth. Who's going to win? I think Kansas City being a tough place to play, I think that's the reason that they lose, but the Chiefs don't have any receivers that can catch except Travis Kelce. The Bills' defense has struggled this year. Josh Allen will always turn the ball over, so I think they probably lose because he turns the ball over so much. I also think the Chiefs might not be able to score a lot of points. So I'm taking the Chiefs to win, but I'm taking the Bills to cover. I don't think it's going to be a 1-point game, but I really couldn't decide on who I wanted to win. So I wanted to cover to have an out either way. Broncos Chargers 28-20. The Broncos are +2.5. This is not a typo. This is real. I made the thumbnail before I put in the final spreads, and I should have put lock for the Broncos, because the Broncos being +2.5 in Los Angeles, where you're not really a home team, I don't see what the point is. There's not an injury that I'm aware of that is significant enough to make the Chargers win. So the fact that the Broncos are +2.5, I'd take them at -2.5. I might take them at -6.5 in this game. Based on my score prediction, I would. So taking the Broncos 28-20, that was kind of a no-brainer. Eagles, Cowboys. This one I went back and forth on too. I think the Eagles are going to be looking for a bounce back week after getting murdered by the 49ers. So I think this could be a week where they win. Especially, beating the Cowboys at home is always big for Philly. I think it is going to be tough playing the Cowboys at home. But I think it could even be higher scoring than this too. I think you could see this game get into like the 30s for each team, maybe even 40 for one of them, just because I think the Eagles have always been able to keep up, but the Cowboys have been putting up a lot of points. And I think the Eagles defense is bottom tier right now. They're very low. I think rankings wise, they're like mid 20s as far as their defense goes. So they're going to allow a lot of points. They're going to allow a lot of yards. I just think they can stay in it. And I think they're going to want a bounce back win after getting embarrassed this past week. So I'm taking the Cowboys to win, Eagles to cover with that plus 3.5 spread there, 27-24. Packers Giants. This is another one where I think I've got the helmet on the wrong side for this one. Yeah, it's plus 6.5. Should have put the helmet by the Giants. That's on me. So I have the Giants covering, obviously, the 6.5 point spread. I think the Giants defense has been playing well recently. I don't think their offense is good enough to put up that many points, but I think their defense actually will cause some turnovers. Jordan Love hasn't really been making mistakes and turning the ball over. I think he's due, so I think he's going to do that a few times. I think the Packers are going to go a little bit closer back to where they were, where they struggled at the beginning of the game, and then score a lot more in the second half. I think that could be the case. I think you could see the Giants lead early on, even in this game. But I'm taking the Giants to cover the Packers, but Packers to win 21-17. Next game, we have Titans-Dolphins. This one was very easy. Like, clearly the Dolphins are going to win. Clearly the Titans are going to lose. Thought about having them cover. 13.5 is a lot, but I'd really I might, for actually betting, I might do alternate spread like Titans plus 14.5 or something. Or I would probably just bet Dolphins money line and get the worst odds ever, but that's probably not a good idea either. There's no way the Titans win this game, but there is a way that they cover, being a 13-point spread. I think that isn't too difficult. What would you need? Like 20, it'd be 28, like 15. That's not really a normal score, but you know what I mean? Something like that, 30-17. So I think those are possible, but I definitely see the Dolphins winning. Had to make them cover just because of how good their offense and their defense is, and Titans offense hasn't really been too great so far in these past weeks under Will Levis. So I'm taking the Dolphins, covering the spread and all. And that should be the last game, I believe, this week. Yeah, we got my record, my all-season record. So last week was great. Straight up, I was 10-3 against the spread. I was 8-5, and then the rushing game we talk about every week was also 10-3. My against the spread is finally coming back. We're getting close to even, but 114-78 is. I'm okay with it. I really need to be better next year. I want to be closer to like where that rushing record is, like 130-62. I know I can be better. There's some weeks towards the middle there where I was dead even. So got to fix that. But we're doing all right. And these past weeks have been better. You had 12-4 and 10-3. We had a 12-4 week 8 as well. So everything's been getting a lot better. Thank you for watching. I know this is likely at like halftime, third quarter of the Thursday night game. But I'm recording it before. It's a little after 7 o'clock right now. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a great day.